Hey, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us here at Red Devils United. This is our Beer and Chat show, which happens at 7 o'clock each Saturday, where we just have a beer and chat. The chat is open in the window, and you can see all the chats coming through. We'll read them out, we'll answer them, we'll have some banter, a bit of back and forth, and basically just talk about football. We're going to just talk about all today's games, including the United match against Everton earlier on, as well as all tomorrow's games and what are to come. So whether you're a United fan or a fan of any team, you're always welcome to Beer and Chats and talk about your team and have a bit of banter and a bit of back and forth. Today, I'm lucky enough, I'm being joined by one of my best friends in the whole world and a Man United supporter. It is Deco. Deco, thanks for joining us.
How's it going, man? You alright?
Very good, very good. And we have the chat window now open for everybody where they can come in live. Now I just need to mute it. You're always welcome to Beer and Chats and talk. And it's muted. It's bad enough listening to one of me. We don't want to listen to two of me. So Deco is here with us, and we are talking about the United game today, but also the football still to come. We have the chat window open. Just grab a beer. Type your messages. Anybody from Newbridge FC, anybody who's joining us live, have a beer and chat football. Deco, thoughts? Deco, I was going to say.
I missed the second half, but good game all round, though.
Yeah, thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, really good. Glad to see where the team played. A bit shaky at the start with the first goal going in, but after that, they just really perked up. Passing was great. Some build-up plays, everything just seemed to go really well. Maguire played with Fred, was much better than he has been before. So yeah, really happy with the team today.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, one of the big things for me, I didn't write them down. I really should start writing these things down. You know, things I want to discuss. But the passing was sharp. Now, I think for the first 10, 20 minutes, the passing was good. I think I spoke to you earlier about this. The first 5 minutes, we were all over them. They couldn't get the ball back, and when they did, they gave it back to us, or we won it back straight away. But they couldn't get it back, and first 5, 6, 7 minutes, we were all over them, but yet they created the first chance.
Yeah, exactly. There's some dangerous chances from them. Like that header, even after we equalised, they had a shot that went off the upright, but that could have just been squared straight to Calvert-Lewin for a second goal. So a little bit dangerous they were.
Yeah,
we had
and I wouldn't mind. It was a crossfield ball was good, and then the ball into the box was good, and Calvin-Lewis had a little flick on header, just went over the bar. Honestly, don't think De Gea could have got to it if he had hit the target. So it was pretty dangerous and really annoying because we were all over them. But as you said, the passing was good before that, but then it became even quicker after that. We had some really quick passing after that, which I thought was really, really good. Individual players seem to be trying more. I know I was on the WhatsApp groups earlier and I was saying the forwards seem to be moving better, more energetic. Rashford was coming to the ball more, and when he got it, he wasn't just coming back, getting it and one touch pass back to the guy who gave it to him, which is pretty fucking useless. He was getting it and then he turned, and that's actually what led to the first goal. You know, Fred as well. I think Fred was very close to man of the match for me. He was top 3 for me.
He did really well today, yeah.
Yeah, interceptions, tackles, he was all over the pitch, but also when he got the ball, he wasn't just doing sideways easy passes. United were patient in a lot of the build-ups, but every now and again when there was a forward pass, it was generally Fred that gave it. And he gave it to Rashford, who stopped it, turned, and then set off the motion for the actual goal. He gave it to Shaw. You then messaged and said, I nearly freaked out and screamed because Shaw didn't cross the first time.
He stopped it again. He just put his foot on it again. And I was like, he's going to go backwards with this. I nearly shouted at the screen, just going, why can't you cross it? And before he was saying anything, he put the ball in front of his head. So, yeah.
But me up. The thing is, you're not wrong. It's like, why didn't you cross it? Okay? Because he doesn't have to cross the first time. And stopping it and getting space. And in fairness, he's not right-footed, and yet he delivered a decent ball, which I still think, and I'm not sure, was with his right foot. But he delivers a good ball in. And obviously, fantastic header, great run from Fernandes, great goal. But what you were screaming at was what it looked like he was going to do, which is not cross it, stop it, and then just go backwards. Pass it back down the line to Maguire or, someone coming from deep. which would be very annoying and just like very unhelpful all around.
No, I was gonna get super frustrated, but then obviously I think it was I looked again, but I think it was a left foot cross. He swung it in. I think the player just kind of stepped away from him, gave him a bit of space to do it, but he just swung a nice ball in for a great goal. So yeah, like I say, he shut me quite up. So I was happy enough.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, like, he's so frustrating. Like, I mean, I don't know what it is, right? Because obviously he was a fantastic player when we bought him, right? Goes without saying.
Yeah.
He had his leg broken, right? Me and you, none of us could even fathom what that's like, and how it destroys maybe some of what you physically can do or what mentally you want to do. But he has the ability to get forward and overlap. But I've often watched him in a game, and Shaw will run down the wing, get the ball, and then he just passes it back, passes it inside, passes it back.
Yeah.
And I remember one match watching, and a lot of people were commenting on it. He gave the ball to Fernandez and then stopped, literally stopped, and he was like, "Pass it back to me." And Fernandez was just literally sitting there, and he was like, he was just sitting there. He was just sitting there, and Fernandez pointed. He was like, "No, overlap me, overlap me." I was like, you shouldn't have to tell a player to overlap you. It should be just instinctive. No. You give a ball to a player, and we did it. Like, I did this when I was 20, playing with Postal. We were Leinster Senior League and Cup winners, and in training we used to just you give the ball and overlap. You don't even need to get it back, but you're making the defender chase you. You're making the defender think. You're bringing a player away from the guy who's on the ball. You overlap. Yeah. And Shaw, he just does not do it. He not instinctively anyway.
He's done it a couple of times, but majority of the time, and even sometimes he'll get the ball and he'll knock it by somebody and sprint past them, and he can do it, but it's rare, and it's frustrating that he doesn't do it as much as he should.
It is. It's really frustrating because it's not only that he doesn't do it as much as he should. When you look at it, it's hard to say. Because he gets the ball in, like the RB Leipzig game, right? I was slating Shaw throughout the entire match, right? I was basically going on about he doesn't get the ball in, he doesn't deliver it, he doesn't hit the crosses, keeps going backwards, and then all of a sudden he was taking, I know Fernandez was benched, so he was taking corners, and then he was taking free kicks, and then all of a sudden he was actually hitting crosses in, and for the first 20 minutes of that match, and obviously we went on to win 5-0. It was a fantastic game. He made me eat my words. He was brilliant. Everything I'd said and slated him about, he just completely went, fuck you. Fuck you, John.
That's exactly
fuck
what
you.
happened when I was talking about Fred in, I can't remember what game it was in now, but he couldn't string one pass together. He'd play balls behind players. He'd look at people that passed it and just pass to the other team. And I just was like, no, don't like Fred. He's terrible. And in this game, just everything he did was perfect. And in the last game, obviously he played a bit better, had a tackle that gave Rashford a goal, I think it was. I think some games they can really pull it out, but there's other games where I don't know what's happening, if it's something personal or something that's happened, but something must be affecting them sometimes.
And he played well in that game, and then all of a sudden he stops doing it. Today, but then I know he wasn't great against that. In fairness, nobody was really great against the Champions League. I'm not even going to try and pronounce them. That Champions League team, maybe Bakashar.
For sure.
And he wasn't great, but he did get the assist. But what was a lovely cross, brilliant finish from Martial, and essentially it looked like a carbon copy today. He did the exact same thing, and this time the run from Fernandez, though he came from really deep, he must have ran at least 5 or 6 yards. And headed it in brilliantly between the two defenders. It was a great ball, though.
Yeah, very good goal. And he played, like I say, everyone played really well today. The only, I think, not great player was Matt today. He just had a few passes that were a bit off and touches that weren't great. There was one he got super lucky where he tried to backheel it to Martial, but it went out towards an Everton player, but it spun and went around the player to Martial, and it was just that worked out really, but then nothing came of it. But
no.
A lot of
I think Matt is a good player, but just getting back to the goal. The goal itself, it was brought about from really good play because they were very patient. They were passing it back and forth, and as I was kind of talking about in the pre-match talk earlier. If you haven't watched the pre-match talk, guys, just you can go back and have a look at the Everton pre-match talk. You know, so even if you've seen the match, watch the pre-match talk and what we discussed. Check out the match, then watch the post-match reaction, and you'll see what we were talking about. But in the pre-match talk, I was talking about the fact that Bruno kept trying to force things that weren't there, and he did it a bit today. But unlike the game in midweek and even the Arsenal game, we were very patient with the ball, and then when the option actually presented itself, Fred found a forward pass, and as soon as he managed to get the ball to Rashford's feet, again, unlike Arsenal, who left his man by 4 yards to receive it, gave him the space to turn, and then he had Shaw as an option, and then obviously everything else developed from that. But just even that movement, the forward person coming deep, the midfielder not being afraid to just deliver that forward pass, it led to the goal. And I think that's like everything missing from the two previous games.
Yeah. Well, I think that you made the right choice on who you wanted to start today. Like, I know you're a big Pogba fan. A lot of people give you a stick for it as well, but I think you made a good choice not to start Pogba.
He did, but the thing is, I also didn't put Pogba in my starting 11, and it's not because Pogba's bad, but it is to do a lot with what Dwayne Morgan was saying in our pre-match chat, that neither McTominay and Fred are good enough to play a holding position on their own. You need the both of them there, and if you do have the both of them there, you physically can't have Fernandes and Pogba or Van der Beek all in the same team. It just becomes unbalanced. So I opted for Bruno in my starting 11 over Pogba. Not that I think he's better. In fact, I actually thought Bruno played worse than Pogba in the last game. But, you know, he got 2 goals. He got his assist at the end. He showed he has that quality. And I think the reason I picked Bruno over Pogba is, while I love Pogba and I think he's brilliant and a world-class player, I do think he can tend to slow the game down. You know, he takes a touch. Now, he's one of the best players at delivering a long ball, switching the play, opening up the game. But often, like more often than not, he'll take it and he'll take a touch and he'll take another touch. And he doesn't lose possession. Not nearly as much as Bruno. But it slows the overall play down.
Yeah. I think I've noticed, like, not all the time, but sometimes he does. Like, he'll almost take a touch where there's a player behind him and a player near him, and he'll touch the ball near to that player so that he'll go for it, and then he'll try and take it around it, but then because he's surrounded, sometimes he then like loses it to both of them and struggles to get back. But it's every now and then he does it, and that frustrates me when I watch him, just because I'm like, I'll see the ball coming to him, like he's gonna try it again, and he'll like puts it away from himself, try and do like a turnaround and lose it. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, no, definitely. But like, I mean, well, we just wanted to mention we're joined by Rob Fox. He brought in now. Rob is apparently having a movie night with his family, so the fact that he's jumped in here says a lot. Either it's a shitty movie, or he's just really dedicated to United and he wants to join in the chat. So appreciate it, Rob. I know you probably can't stay long, which is fine, but I do appreciate you joining us. And Rob Fox has a bar he's recently built, a actually full-fledged United fan bar in his back garden. It's a proper log cabin deco. It's absolutely beautiful. He's got a big screen. He's got taps. You know, he's got the lot in there, and he's offered to do and host a show of Red Devils United from his bar on a match day. So as soon as lockdown is over, we will definitely be sticking in an episode or 2 or 3 or 4 from Foxy's United bar. Absolutely
every week.
Now Robert Fox says he is not a team player, fantastic baller, but not one of the extras bit for other, but not one to the extra bit for others. I think he's just he's talking about in regards of covering for other people if they lose the ball and being able to track back and being able to move, and that's, you know, that's fair enough. He says, not me, lol, that was Paulie. Not really sure what he's referring to. Oh, Paulie's the one having a family night. Foxy doesn't give a shit about his family. He just wants to play. He just wants to talk football. Fair play, Foxy. Yes, Paulie's having a family night. Deco is more than welcome. Deco lives in York, Foxy. If he can get over to your bar and not visit me, I'd be very pissed off, man.
I'm going to do my own show from there. You're not
Deco'll start his own show, and you'll have episode 1 premiering from Foxy's bar. Bastard. And it's called The Fox's Den. The Fox's Den. Love it.
Well, next time
Foxy, I hope you're having a beer. I just want to say, guy, this episode is sponsored by Carlsberg. They've given us zero money, but if there was ever a podcast, it would probably be the best podcast in the world.
Also, this crappy bear.
Yes, it's more like the Turkish team.
Mm.
But Foxy, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. I'm sure you can probably pull a pint better than this.
Oh God, that's awful.
But we got our drinks. It's Beer and Chats, where we have a beer and we chat football. And as Foxy has joined us, we are talking about United. And yeah, I'm a big fan of Pogba. But Bruno played well today. He justified his place in the team. I did find it strange that Van der Beek didn't start. Now, I mean, it's easy to criticise a manager when the team doesn't play well, right? So let's just say, for argument's sake, in an alternate reality, Bruno has an awful game and does not play well. Everybody be like, why the fuck did Van der Beek not start? He was easily better than Bruno in the European match. So it makes no sense that Van der Beek gets benched and Bruno starts, right? It's easy to do that in an alternate reality where Bruno has a bad game. Unfortunately, Bruno puts on a man of the match performance, scoring 2 goals. The second, obviously somewhat lucky, it was a cross come goal, but also gets an assist at the end as well. Which then it's like, okay, well, you can't blame the manager because that decision has helped United win the match. But Van der Beek has played so well, Deco. I mean, what does he have to do to actually start a game?
I don't know what he has to do. Because he's going to have to be given a chance, isn't he? He's going to have to be given more than like starting 40, 50 minutes maybe, or last half an hour. He needs to just be given a full game and see what he can do. I think he just take a chance next game, let him play.
I know, but the thing as well, you have to ask yourself as well, is Van der Beek, I thought, was probably one of our better midfielders, all right, in the European game, right? And you go off your last game, European game, shit performance, the whole midfield was shit. Arsenal, shit performance, whole midfield was shit. You go off your last game, Van der Beek was probably the best player in both those games in relation to his ability to not give away the ball, all right?
Yeah.
And that's not an ability, that's not a compliment, but it's just a discussion on how bad everyone else was. Van der Beek just gave the ball away less, right? And yet Mata gets a start, who I thought was probably the worst player we had in the European game.
Yeah.
Bruno starts, who was in fact the worst player because he gave the ball away 30 odd times, right? Yeah. Justifies his start with 2 goals and an assist. Okay, we'll give him that. But Van der Beek doesn't even come off the bench. Pogba comes off the bench, and while I think Pogba was better than Mata and Bruno, he wasn't better than Van der Beek. So Van der Beek, you talk about your midfielders, right? Your attacking midfielders, your number 10s. You got Pogba, Bruno, Mata, and Van der Beek. You got 4 people vying for 1 or 2 positions, right? And of the 4, Van der Beek has actually been the cleanest in possession, and yet Mata starts, Bruno starts, and Pogba comes off the bench.
Yeah.
And Van der Beek is the one still sitting there going, what?
Yeah, it's very weird. It's very strange. Because like I say, the times he's played, he has played really well. So I don't know why he's not getting more of a chance. But
he was clean and tidy, and I thought, like, you know, in the game, there was a game he played against, I think it was RB Leipzig, and he was clean, he was tidy, but he didn't do too much. But I actually thought in the European game where everybody was shit, he was really good. He got the ball in congested situations, and he always found his man. And he didn't just play clean and tidy. He was actually creating opportunities, which didn't come to anything. But he was doing his part. And I just found it very hard. Like, it's not so much Bruno. Bruno justified his position. But whether it's Pogba or Van der Beek, you put Mata in a top right position. Think about Mata for a second. He's a number 10. He's small. He's generally quite slow. He's a great person on the ball as far as his touch is concerned, and sometimes his passing is great, but he's not a winger, right?
No.
Now, people talk about Pogba, and as you said, I'm a big fan of Pogba, right? He can get caught, like in the Arsenal game, from his defensive lacking defensively. Now, I do say that, but anybody who's watching as a Liverpool fan, Paul Pogba, in his last full season, had more tackles than Henderson. He had more tackles than Milner in a full season. He had more interceptions than I think Fernandinho. He had more headers. He is good defensively, but it's not the strongest part of his game, right? he could play in a wide left position or a wide right position. The chap is 2-footed. I've never seen anybody deliver a long ball with their right and their left in equal quality as he does, right? So he's 2-footed. He could have easily played Rashford out left, Pogba out right, and then, Martial up the top. And that gives Pogba the chance to take men on, to beat them, because he's very good at beating a player one-on-one. It gives him a chance to not worry about the defensive side of the game in the midfield. And I don't understand, Mata started over Van der Beek. That's a question mark. I don't understand why. But why did they keep opting to put Mata high up wide right when Pogba is easily a better option there? And when they made the substitution, I called this in the WhatsApp group earlier today. I said, we need Cavani on. It's looking a bit flat. And this was about 10 minutes before the substitutions. I was like, Cavani needs to come on. It's a bit flat. And then Mata for Pogba. Because if you don't want to put Pogba for Fred or McTominay or Bruno, because Bruno's obviously on a hat-trick and playing well, you could play him up top instead of Mata. Just switch Rashford to the right. Which is exactly what they did. I thought Pogba did well when he came on.
But yeah, you like to say Pogba, he can't be something. He's deceptively fast. It's weird because he's tall. He's got real long legs. He doesn't look like he's moving very fast. But I've seen him beat players, and you're just like, how is he doing that?
He never looks like he's sprinting.
No, he looks like a light stroll, a light jog somewhere, going, I'm just gonna get this ball, then I might shoot, I might score a goal. He's just chilling while he runs, and he just beats them. Like, how did he get it?
I'm pretty sure if I was sprinting beside Pogba, I'd be like this, and he'd be just like.
He'd do one step and you'd be half a pitch behind.
Foxy's in the chat here and he's saying do you think you're spot on, Van der Beek, Bruno, Pogba? Only one of them plays in front of the two sitting midfielders. I'm Foxy, you're right, but my friend Dwayne Morgan said today, it's not that gives the team balance. It's just that neither Fred nor McTominay are good enough to play the holding role on their own. They need each other. And they do add something. And Fred, in fairness to him, he played a lot of forward passes today, which was great. But you give balance to the team. Bruno playing there, Van der Beek can play instead of Bruno, Pogba will stay with Bruno. But I honestly think to get proper balance in this team, all you need to do is have Van der Beek and Bruno compete for that one spot in front of the two holding midfielders, right? Because we need two, all right? Because they're not good enough on their own. So if we accept that, you've got Van der Beek and you've got Fred and McTominay sitting deep, and Bruno and Van der Beek can vie for that position in front.
Yeah,
I think keep Pogba out of that equation altogether, the same way you do Mata, and let Pogba play top right of the forward three, an advanced position to create chances, to get crosses in, to switch the play, to beat players, which he can do. Put him top left. Do the exact same thing from that position, which then gives a chance to rest Greenwood, rest Rashford, and I think Pogba in a more advanced role is more threatening. Get him out of the midfield altogether, and let Fred and McTominay and Matic vie for that defensive position, and let Mata and Van der Beek and Bruno vie for the the switching kind of playmaker number 10 position in behind, in front of those two.
Yeah, we'll see what they do, but I mean, doesn't look like he's gonna ever try that.
Well, I don't know. He did do that though. He took Mata off. He put Pogba on, and Pogba played top left.
Yeah.
And then he had Cavani middle, and he had Rashford out on the right. Wasn't too bad. Robert Fox, my opinion on Van der Beek. Woodward got him in Ole, giving him a cold shoulder because of it. What do you think? I'm over Pogba, he says. Now, I think that's just due to the inconsistency that Pogba's shown. But if you look at the games Pogba's played poor in, honestly, it's very hard to pick a player that didn't play poor in those games. Against Arsenal, Pogba was very poor, but the whole team was shit. Against Bakashar or whatever, Pogba was poor. The whole team was shit. You look at the games he didn't start, right? Newcastle were 1-1. Pogba and Van der Beek come on, we win 4-1. You know, Deco against PSG were 1-1. Pogba comes on, Granted,
Yeah.
Rashford had to do a lot to score the winner, but Pogba sets up the
Yeah.
winner. You know, he got the assist. So I'm not over him. I think he's a brilliant player, and we just need to find a position for him that suits the team, suits him. And I think a wide left, wide right position would suit that far more than Mata does. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I like to say Matt has not got pace left in him anymore, has he?
no, not at all. Not at all. I do have Paddy watching us on his full TV. Paddy, if you can join us in the chat, please do. We would love to have you and discuss what you think of, because this is beer and chats, guys. This isn't just about United and Everton. It's beer and chats. So, you know, please come on and chat to us about football. We can talk about the Man City Liverpool game. Massive match tomorrow, Paddy. And Paddy, my brother, who's a Liverpool fan, jump in and talk to us. He's actually, Deco, he's watching beer and chats.
Yeah. Nice.
You can't see it. He's watching beer and chats and he says, take off the hat.
Oh, that's not happened today.
The thing is, Paddy needs me to set him up with a YouTube page. He needs me to set him up with a YouTube something in order for him to actually comment.
So he just needs a YouTube account.
He needs a YouTube account, so I'll set Paddy up with that.
10 seconds, Paddy. Just do it. Use your email address. Sorted.
Robert Fox is still here. Rob, we're delighted to have you. Thank you very much for the contribution. You're a good soul. There are players that.
On now. Paddy, City 3-0 tomorrow.
Ooh, we'll discuss that in a minute. Rob Fox says there is players that make players play better. Pogba is not one of them. It's clear we play better without him. Rob, it's hard to say you're right or wrong. Okay, in the games he hasn't started, we've won, but with most of them, we done better when he came on. So in Newcastle he didn't start, but he came on and we scored 3 goals. In PSG he didn't start. We were fabulous as a team. We had balance. We were playing better, but he set up the winner and we won because he gave the ball to Rashford, who then scored a great goal. I think there are games where he's played where he has been fantastic and he makes players play better with him. I just think there's an awful lot of... Put it this way. Look at the European game, Deco, right? For me, Bruno was the worst player on the team for giving the ball away, right? Mata was equally poor and literally gave the ball away. In fact, it was Bruno's really rubbish pass to Mata because he lofted it in the air by accident, a miss kick. Mata's poor control and lack of pace after he lost possession that led to the goal we conceded. That was goal number 2. So it was literally Bruno and Mata that caused that goal, as well as all the defensive mistakes, right? Yeah. They were by far the worst players. And yet everybody talked about Pogba. Which for me is just really unfair. Like, Pogba wasn't good. He wasn't good at all. But neither was anybody on that pitch on Wednesday.
No, maybe it's because Bruno's just having a one-off off.
No, Bruno's been really poor all this season. He's given the ball away an awful lot. And so is other players. So that's the thing. So yes, I think Pogba, like, I mean, there's no justifying it. Pogba was poor against Arsenal. He was poor in midweek against, but he wasn't the worst midfielder. And yet everybody talks about him. He's the most. It's just easy to blame him and not look at why we were bad. And it's in a lot of these games, it's very hard to determine why we were bad. Now, before you go on, Deco, I'm just gonna just. Teddy Stokes, who I believe is Richie.
He signed it, Richie.
He signed it, Richie. So Richie, the manager of Newbridge FC. That's what I think, Fred. That's what I think, Foxy, too, about Van der Beek. Not Ole priority signing and sign because other targets weren't possible and didn't happen. Richie, I agree. I mean, we wanted Sancho. It didn't happen. I don't know who else we were in for. Obviously, we were in for Haaland at one stage back in January. It didn't happen. And Ole, like, I mean, he may want certain players, and there's certain players we can afford and not afford, and obviously the pandemic is giving us hindrance. I do really hope Sancho is another Pogba scenario. Another Bruno scenario where we didn't get him in the summer, but we'll get him in January. We'll wait and see what happens. But that said, I do think Van der Beek is a good player. I also think he's not Jose Mourinho. He's not that vindictive. And he has played well enough to justify a place in the team. and he is clean. And when you hear Ole talk about Van der Beek, he does say he's great in training, he's a great boy, he's a great lad. You can see how good he is on the ball, he's very composed. He very really loses it. Yeah, in fact, in the Newcastle match when Van der Beek came on and helped us get from 1-1 to 4-1, Ole made a point of saying Van der Beek didn't lose the ball once. Like, not once did he give possession away. So I think Ole likes him. It's just fitting him into the team whilst keeping Fred and McTominay at the back for balance. And today he opted for Bruno. In fairness, it was justified by 2 goals and an assist. But he could have easily played Van der Beek there, Deco, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could have done. He could have done it, and it could have been a similar kind of game. We probably could have ended up with a good result, but you never know.
You never know, yeah, exactly.
The worst game ever, but you just then it's easy to blame Ole and just say that was it. You should have played Bruno. So
yeah, no, yeah. And you would, but I honestly, I don't like Ole. He probably wasn't number 1 on Ole's list, but Van der Beek is a great player. A lot of teams wanted him, and I think I just want to make the point of I don't think Ole is vindictive enough to be benching Van der Beek for just to make a point. I just don't think he's like that. Rubber Fox, Paddy, I love John, but it must be hard being his bro. Fuck you, Bob. Fuck you, Rob. But no doubt, it probably is tough, being my bro. Just as tough as it is being a Liverpool supporter's bro, who literally has "You'll Never Walk Alone" tattooed here, and fucking, the Liverpool crest tattooed here. He's a proper fucking Liverpool fan, and he was annoying, like really annoying before the last 2 years of success. That's right, they've only had 2 years of success. He was annoying before that. You can only imagine how unbearable he and all the other fans are. But yeah, no, thanks for that little comment. Connor Nolan, listen, Connor joins us on every show. He's a great lad. Brilliant to have him on the show. Really appreciate you joining us, Connor. He couldn't join us on the pre-match show live or the post-match because he didn't work, and he actually asked me to postpone it because he wanted to join us. He hadn't missed an episode. So Connor, really appreciate your contribution and appreciate you just being in here and helping out. He says, great to see you, John. Good win for Chelsea today. Frank has something brewing. What do you think? So, great. It's great. We can get off the topic of United. This is Beer and Chats, and in Beer and Chats, we just talked about football, Deco. Just to confirm with you, Deco, as far as fixtures and stuff, full time, Chelsea 4, Sheffield United 1. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, good result. It's not a surprise, is it, for Chelsea at all?
Well, the thing is, Frank Lampard had he had a good season last year, right? Like, you put into context, he finished behind Ole, he finished 4th, Ole finished 3rd, Ole's better, right? You can just jump to that conclusion. But he couldn't buy any players in the summer. He had a transfer ban. People did jump on, but he's playing all these youngsters and he's playing academy players. Ole played the youngest team in the league last season, and he played more academy players than any other team in the league last season. But he also bought Bruno. Yeah. And buying Bruno in January changed our entire season. And Frank Lampard, he didn't have that option, right? And yet he still managed to get them 4th, and in fact level with United, except for goal difference. Now Frank Lampard has since gone on and spent 300 million on footballers, right? So he's bought 5 or 6 players. Now Abraham scored, Chilwell scored. He was a person they bought. Silva scored, the defender that they bought, and Werner scored in the 80th minute, also a purchase. So 3 of the 4 goals they scored were all from newly bought players. So you can't.
Good purchases.
Good purchases, good decisions. Exactly. You're not going to use that as a way to say, well, Frank Lampard's not great. He had to buy the players. No, he bought the players, and United bought Van der Beek. United bought Cavani. They wanted more. Obviously, they need to get more. But he went and bought 5 or 6 players, completely backed by Abramovich. So fantastic. And 3 of those 4 players, or 5 or 6 players they bought, they scored today, which is unbelievable for Frank.
That's a great result from him.
Yeah,
really
4-1 Sheffield United, fantastic result. Where does it leave Chelsea in the league table? Well, Chelsea are currently third in the league on 15 points. I just want to make this point, okay? As bad as Ole has done, and I mentioned this to Deco earlier, we're currently 13th. We were 15th, right? If we win our game in hand against Burnley, we will be 2 points behind Chelsea. 2. We'll be 3 points behind Liverpool. Alright? So, while it's not a great start, I do emphasise the fact that no one's had a great start, and should we get a couple of wins under our belt, we'll be right back up there in the top 4 competing. But, Connor, to answer your question, great result for Frank. I do think he's building something. I do think he's got something about him. He does seem very good. And like Ole, I think there is a plus in knowing the team, knowing it inside out, knowing how big it is, knowing how it works. It means you're not overawed by what's coming up. And I think he's done a great job. And he's continued to do a good job. Now, he's got more pressure than Ole under him. I mean, Ole hasn't in this window, okay? In this window, not in, his tenure, but in this window, Ole hasn't spent 260, 300 million, and he hasn't bought 6 players in a single window. So I think, and I said this in the Liverpool game, Deco, when Chelsea were playing Liverpool, that it's probably too early for them to beat Liverpool. Now, obviously, they got a man sent off. It didn't work out for them. But it was just that having 6 brand new players, it takes a while to bed them in, does it not?
Yeah, you've got to gel together, don't you? You've got to be able to learn how to play together. Take a few training sessions, a few games together. You're not just going to come straight off the bat and be know what everyone's doing. You have to play with somebody for a while to be an effective team, don't you? You're not
you do.
Race straight away.
You do, and I have that a lot. Me and you played 5-a-side Astro, and we knew we were just in sync what we would do together. And my friend Dwayne Morgan, who joins us on a couple of the shows in the chat. We have a good understanding of each other, having played football together for at least the last 20 years. And it takes that. You need time to understand what players are going to do before they do it. And getting 6 brand new players into a team is really difficult, and Frank's gonna have to take a bit of time doing that. It's not easy, but a 4-1 win today and sitting third after 8 games, obviously it's not a bad position to be in, Connor. So thanks for joining us, and I think honestly Frank is doing something good. I think he's brewing something, as you said, and honestly, Liverpool not having the best of starts, Man City having a very poor start. Chelsea could, start inching up there. Maybe not winning something as far as the league, but I want United to put in a title battle. I think Chelsea could put one in too. Rob Fox says, Chelsea look good. He also says, John Hooperman Rovers mascot, better Batman all day. What? Okay, so Richie then says, think we need Microsoft Teams call, so we're all on it. Can you broadcast something like that, John? Yes, Richie, have Microsoft Teams. I work with, in my profession, I work as a partner of Microsoft. We have Teams. Can organise that. Can also organise, I've got Deco on through Zoom at the moment. Can organise a Zoom call. Maybe Microsoft Teams is better. Can definitely look at a broadcast of a few people discussing the football on Beer and Chats with Microsoft Teams. Absolutely. We can definitely look at that going forward. That's no problem. Just bear with me because I have my brother calling me. I don't know why. Deco, jump on there for a second and discuss the Chelsea win.
Oh, geez, I didn't even see much of it, but yeah, like we said before, it's a good win for them. It's going to keep them top of the table. Does he want to join the call?
No, I'm knocking him off. He's I can't deal with that when I'm on live. Yes, Richie, absolutely. Look at that. Think we need Microsoft Teams. Yes. So Rob Fox says, my bro is Liverpool as well. I know, Rob, it's fucking awful. Rob says, I think Frank will be a super manager in time. Absolutely. And the thing is, Ole is young. He's really young, and he's managing what is literally the biggest club in world football. I mean, say what you will about the last 5 years and how little they've won. Paddy's ringing me again. Fuck me. Paddy, what's up?
Look, something's happening.
What are you doing, Paddy? I'm talking to you.
Hello.
Does he know this is happening? Is he butt
He's watching it. Paddy, you're watching Beer and Chats live, and you're about 7 seconds behind this conversation I'm having with you, which doesn't work.
John,
Yes, I can hear you.
you're about 16 hours delayed.
Okay.
Jesus.
I'm hung up. I can't be dealing with that.
The technology.
That's the technology, yeah. It's just Paddy live messaging me. So what were we saying? We were talking about, I think Frank will be a super manager. I think Ole will be a good manager. Like, I mean, the two of them are managing at easily two of the, top four, well, obviously the top four teams in the Premier League. And it takes a bit of time to bed down your process. And let's look at it, like, Fergie took over United. It took him 4 years to win something. And then when he did, let's not forget that he had to build a second team and a third team. Paddy's calling Deco now. He had to build a second team and a third team, and that takes time, Deco, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah. It's like for other managers we've had before. We didn't give them long enough before just getting rid of them, did we? So
no, but
we just need to give Ole a bit of time.
Oh yeah, but he may not do it, and we get a new manager in. That's fine. I mean, that happens all the time. But when you're talking about clubs and you're talking about, like Fergie came in, it took him a while to win something. He had to build new clubs, right? Yeah, hang up on him. Hang up on Paddy. So when Fergie came in, right? When Fergie came in, Deco, we had a period there in the 2000s. Chelsea started coming on board. Chelsea were winning. Fergie went 4 years without winning anything. Yeah. All right? And that was because he was trying to then build a new team, which takes time. It took the greatest manager in Premier League history 4 years to build a team capable of winning again. All right?
Yeah,
so it takes time for any manager.
And there wasn't that big rush to get like title wins and everything else. Like you had a bit of time. These days it seems like you've got to do it in your first year.
Oh, even Fergie was talking about retiring and getting sacked. I mean, when you have the greatest manager of all time, it still took him 4 years to build a title-winning team, and this is after our '99 treble-winning team. This is in like 2002, 2004. You went 4 years without winning anything. Yeah. All right, it takes time to build a new team. So it's going to take Frank Lampard time to build a team capable of challenging. It's going to take Ole time to build a team capable of challenging. It took Klopp, in my opinion, the greatest manager in the Premier League right now. It took him 4 years. In fact, it was 5 years to win the Premier League, 4 to win the Champions League. It took him 5 years to win a team, to build a team capable of winning the Premier League. 5 years. So yeah, I mean, it's always he's only had 2 seasons. I mean, it took Klopp 5. It does take time. It'll take Frank time. It'll take Ole time. Neither may do it, but I mean, let's at least give them the time to fail first. We have Robert Fox saying, on United today, Maguire has gotten a lot of stick, but he has done well today. That Fred and McShane, I feel, is holding decent. Allows Bruno to move and free him up. Yeah, absolutely. Richie, my friend Dwayne said it today. Neither Fred or McTominay are good enough to actually have the holding position to themselves, but together they're actually quite good. They do the job well, and they did allow then for Bruno to play a more advanced role. And then it brought in the other 3 players. Now granted, Mata didn't do too much. If you put Greenwood there, if you put Pogba there, you put somebody else in that top right position, they might do more, but it allowed them the freedom. So yeah, absolutely, I think for a balanced team you need Fred and Max Sauce / McTominay. You need Fred McTominay or Fred Matic or McTominay Matic, but you do need those 2 midfielders to allow the others to play. Rob Fox says difference being he is backed. Ole was backed. We would be some squad. If Ole was backed, and what he's referring to is Frank Lampard seemed to get his first choice players. He seemed to get the players he wanted when he wanted them, and it seemed to be done very quickly. Ole wanted Bruno. It didn't happen in the summer. It took till January to buy him, and it turned our season around. He then wanted Sancho, and the entire summer was about Sancho, and we still didn't get him. Now, in fairness, the entire summer was about Bruno last year, and we didn't get him, and it took till January.
Yeah.
So Ole's not being backed in that sense. Now, Ole has been backed in that they've spent money, but they don't seem to have bought the players they want. And the same thing happened with Moyes. Moyes didn't get the players he wanted. Loads of talk. Van Gaal came out and said he got the 4th and 5th choice players he wanted, not the 1st, 2nd or 3rd. Obviously, everybody knows about Jose complaining about the players he wanted not being bought. And again, it seems the same thing. Ole didn't get players he wanted, and if he did, they'd probably be closer to the top 4 than they are now. And in fairness, they're only 3 points off, so it's not the worst.
Yeah.
Declan's going to read through these. Connor says, thanks, John. You're welcome, Connor. Keep commenting. Let us know what you think about the game today against Chelsea. Absolutely. And let us know what you think about the Liverpool City match tomorrow. And what did you think of United today, Connor? Just pop in the chat and have some bants. Robert Fox says, Paddy, definitely drunk. I'm not going to argue with that. I know I'm getting there.
Paddy Message saying he's not had a beer yet. He's not had a drink, but he's trying to ring us, but it's not working.
No, it doesn't. No, it's not that it's not working. It doesn't work like that, Paddy. We can't have you on the phone on Messenger whilst we do this. It doesn't work like that. Robert Fox says, lads, Jack. Now, actually, if Paddy's watching on his TV, I want to give a shout out to Elijah. Elijah, how you doing? It's Uncle John, and want to say hi. Love you, little buddy. But Rebecca says, hey, it's Paddy. So Rebecca Toland apparently has a YouTube account, and it's Paddy. So now Rebecca or Paddy can talk to us. Paddy, a Liverpool fan who will get along well with Niall York, who's also a Liverpool fan. Stop talking about Liverpool, man. Look, Yorkie, this is Beer and Chats. Beer and Chats is not only about United, it's about all of today's games. It's about the Maguire penalty that maybe should have or shouldn't happen. It's about the Liverpool and City match. It's just beer and chats, and it's about football. So absolutely, you can just comment on that. I'm just going to show the comment here from Thing. Now, let me just check out the chat here. Paddy's definitely drunk. Lee Bourne says United is not the biggest club in football in the world. You have to win things to be that. Okay, so in fairness, Lee, fair enough. Yes, you have to win things to be that, but we have won as much as Liverpool have in the last 7 years. Liverpool trophies, we won more. Liverpool won 2 trophies, we won 3, so that's nice. As far as the quality of those trophies, I mean, Liverpool won the Champions League and the League. We won the FA Cup, the Carling Cup, and the FA Cup, the League Cup, and the Europa Cup. But yes, you need to win things, but winning things makes you a successful team, not the biggest team. The biggest team is still determined by fan base, stadium, revenue, and all of the above, trophies, etc, etc, etc. And United are by far one of the top 3 biggest teams in the league, and Liverpool aren't in that top 3. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man United, that's where it lies. And Liverpool have been great. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a channel to diss Liverpool, it's a United channel, but we don't diss Liverpool, Deco. They've been fantastic, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. They've been fantastic for 2 seasons. Okay?
They're amazing.
We've all been following football for the last 30 years. They've been great for 2 of them. Robert Fox, squad deserves a run. I think by squad deserves a run. Squad deserves a run. I'm not sure. Maybe he's referring to the team we played today. Give Ole contract for life, says Lee Bourne. Yes, I mean, if you want to do that, because like I said earlier, Ole done better than Klopp did in his first year. Ole done better than Klopp did in his second year. And Ole has done better than Klopp did after 100 games. So if we use your logic of sarcasm, then, you know, we would have sacked Klopp before he had any success. And why would you do that? Ole could go on to do great things. He could go on to do nothing. We don't know. All we do know for a fact is that he's done better than Klopp managed. Niall York, no, we did that. Rob Fox says, could have had Haaland for 20 million. I don't know, Rob. I mean, yes, Woodward's a dick, but I don't know. Could we have had Haaland for 20 million? I mean, I wish we did. Rebecca Toland has not been drinking. That's nice to know, Rebecca. Or I mean, Paddy. It is Paddy. Thoughts for tomorrow, John. Paddy is in bed. Niall York says, shout out for me, please. Niall York, Liverpool fan, plays for Newbridge FC. Great lad, great player. Gonna have a debate. As Deca was on right now, We're going to do a debate live with Niall York, a Liverpool fan and a United fan, having a debate, hopefully somewhat cordial. But about football. Niall says thoughts for tomorrow. Yes, City are going to batter you. You're shit. Liverpool Liverpool had a great performance there recently. They did well. It's the first good performance they've had in a while. They were shit against Leeds. They conceded 3 goals. They got battered by Villa 7-2, and they don't have the excuse of having a man sent off. They were very poor against West Ham to scrape a win. They were very poor. They were the better team via Ajax, but they still needed an own goal to get the win. They were the better team against Chelsea, but they still needed to wait until Chelsea got a man sent off before they could get the winning goal. And even then, against a 10-man Chelsea for 45 minutes, they only won by a single goal. Liverpool have not been good performance-wise. They've been good results-wise. Man City should batter them tomorrow, and I bet on that. Rob Fox says, Yorkie hungover tomorrow? Absolutely, Rob. Yorkie, best dude in Newbridge FC. Taken after Daddy Fox. Yorkie, probably one of our youngest players. Rob Fox, definitely one of our oldest players. Rob Fox, any chat on Ireland going into international games? If you want, Rob, I don't mind. I don't really follow the international football very well because Ireland have a fairly rubbish fucking team. And nobody on it is very good. But if you want to put in something in the chat, whether it's me, whether it's Deco, or other people in the chat, they may be able to answer you. Rob Yorkie says you'll never walk alone because, well, we'll see. Paddy says Elijah's in bed. I've correctly predicted 2 correct scores today. Paddy did win 70 odd euro on a 3-1 win for United.
Ooh. Nice to see he believes in us. That's pretty good.
And he had a second one today, which is really good. Niall York says Liverpool had their downtime. Now it looks like the good times are back. Niall, I would agree with you, except for 2 things. How long do you think the good times are back for? Klopp's contract ends in a year, Deco.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Klopp has said he's going to retire for a year, stay out of football, and see how much he misses it before he decides to maybe come back.
Alright.
So if Klopp leaves Liverpool, does Yorkie think another manager is going to get Henderson and Milner to play like Premier League winning football? Does he really think Mane and Salah will stay at Liverpool instead of Barcelona and Real Madrid if Klopp was to leave? The good times are back, Yorkie, but they're fleeting. Paddy says Haaland coming to Liverpool. Paddy, Haaland is not going to Liverpool.
League reason.
You know what? We'll wait and see. Connor says Chelsea were class today, John. If Man United got playing like that all the time, they would be cause trouble week in, week out. In fairness, Connor, if any team played well all the time, every time, they'd cause trouble week in, week out. It's very hard. It's very hard for teams to be that consistent. Even Chelsea haven't been that consistent. They drew with United. They lost to Liverpool. Granted, they're sitting in third, but they're only 2 points ahead of United if we win our game in hand. So they're not doing vastly better by any means. But they have done great today with a 4-1 win. I didn't see the match. But if the performance is good, fantastic. Lee Bourne does agree. Yes, Haaland is coming to Liverpool. Looks all confirmed. That I completely disagree with. There's literally nothing confirmed. There's literally nothing in place, and it's like all the other speculations of transfers over the summer. I think Paddy sent me screenshots of loads of players going to Liverpool, none of which went. Liverpool can't afford very, very much. Especially, I think Haaland's bio clause is something like 69 million. I doubt they'd afford Haaland at 69 million, but we'll wait and see. Paddy says, John, I'll have a bet with you. I don't know what he's referring to. On the game tomorrow. Okay. Paddy wants to bet on City game. Paddy, I bet you €50 Liverpool do not win the game. City draw, City win, I win €50. Paddy, it'll be recorded on record here. €50 if Liverpool do not win the game, you owe me 50. Paddy says, and 4-1 Chelsea. Paddy predicted the 4-1 Chelsea. Fair play, Paddy. That's a good result. That's nice. A great prediction. Fantastic. Oh. Rob's Fox says, Yorkie doesn't even know what day Yorkie doesn't even know what day it is. Apparently. Paddy Tolan says Klopp has said he is willing to extend his contract further. I'm sure he might. But should he not win the league this season, he may reconsider that. We don't know. It also depends on how much Liverpool are willing to pay him. Because ultimately he's going to ask for more money. And he should get it because he's fantastic. But we'll wait and see what happens. If Klopp stays and signs another... And I don't mean a contract extension for 1 year. I mean, if he's going to stay for 1 year, who gives a shit? He's gone after a year. But if he signs a 5-year deal with Liverpool, I might get worried. Niall York Deco, he's saying they have the players. Hopefully, they have the players. Hopefully, they do. They have the players. Hopefully, they do. Really not sure what he's referring to.
Does that like United have the players, so hopefully they will play well week in week
No, Yorkie doesn't care about United having the players. He's a Liverpool fan, so he wouldn't be hopeful of anything like that. Rob Fox, why would you want to live in Liverpool? It's a good point, Rob. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Paddy says, being confirmed by RB Leipzig, confirmed on Sky Sports. Well, RB Leipzig don't own Haaland. Haaland is owned by Dortmund. Lee Bourne, yep, Leipzig confirmed it. What the hell are you both talking about? He's a Dortmund player. He plays for Dortmund. Rebecca, if you want to draw and win, I want 2-1. No, you don't get 2-1. Right? Straight up, if you think Liverpool are going to beat City, then you bet me Liverpool City. It's a draw and win. 50 quid I get for City, and if Liverpool win, I'll give you 50. That's the end of it. Yorkie has 1,000 on Liverpool win, says Connor Nolan. Well, I doubt that because Yorkie doesn't have 1,000 quid unless he's selling some of those plants he's been taking recently. That catches us up on the chat. Guys, thank you so much for joining us live here on Beer and Chats. This is exactly what Beer and Chat should be. A bit of banter back and forth, a bit of a laugh. Also, proper discussions on the football. Delighted to have Deco here with me. We're reaching the hour mark. I want to keep going. And I will keep going as long as people are watching, which is great. Deco.
I was going to say, John, you mentioned earlier, because it was just kind of in passing, but I was thinking about it earlier. You mentioned the possible penalty on Maguire.
Yes.
Because of like Pickford's tackle.
Pickford.
Absolutely
shit.
I looked at it. Tackle wasn't great, but I don't think he really connected with him that bad. But I think if that was the other way around, any player swinging the leg at a keeper, it would have been a free out.
Oh, well, see, here's the thing, and Stephen Norman mentioned this in the chat, and you would have seen it, right? So, yes, Pickford kicks out. Pickford fucking destroyed Virgil van Dijk's season, right? He's absolute lunacy. Doesn't know what he's doing. He's an absolute useless keeper at the moment. He really is pathetic. I don't know how Nick Pope and Henderson are not being picked ahead of him for England, right? He's terrible. Absolutely terrible at the moment.
Gareth Southgate's spoken about praising Pickford.
I don't understand that, right? He's destroyed. He's destroyed Virgil van Dijk's season. He comes out, now obviously he doesn't hurt Maguire, but he just kicks him. Now the defender also just kicks him, right? Ridiculous. But there is a thing to be said, and Stephen Norman said it. He does push him, right? He does, he reaches out to his chest and he pushes him full arm extended, and he pushes the keeper on the chest, which causes him to maybe drop the ball, right? So I don't mind the penalty not being given, because it could have been a foul for the keeper, because it pushing the chest is a pushing the chest.
Yeah.
But the keeper's reaction to that is ridiculous. He's absolutely shit.
That's what I mean. It's like I say is if a player was if the ball was bouncing and a player swung his leg and missed it and went near the keeper, it would instantly be a free out. So I don't see why it's not a penalty. Thing is, it's probably a free out. It's probably a free out because of the push of Maguire. But if you're not giving a free out, it has to be a penalty. And honestly, because neither are given, you could understand VAR looking at it going, okay, look, it's a 100% penalty, except it's also 100% foul on the keeper because Maguire's pushed him on the chest. I think it's definitely a penalty. When I saw it, because I was out and about because I couldn't watch the second half, and you messaged saying it was a penalty. I think I came back. I don't know where I was stood, but I just threw it on the phone for a second, and I saw the challenge, and I was just, that's definitely a penalty.
It's. I do think Maguire may have fouled him, and that's fine. But it was still stupid play from Pickford. How he keeps his spot in the England team is beyond me. Listen,
Yeah.
Paddy goes on to say, Klopp has said he is willing to extend his contract further. Okay, we got there. Paddy then says,
I'll go down past
yeah, you
Yorkie,
don't.
a grand on Liverpool.
Yorkie, Rob Fox says, Yorkie, you don't have to put the piss in. Okay, fair enough. Rob Fox is like, VAR fucking with football. Look, Rob, VAR is fine. There's nothing wrong with VAR. All VAR is a technology that allows a referee to re-see a moment in the game. Okay, so VAR is not the issue, right? Virtual assistant referee is not the problem, because it's not a virtual assistant referee. It's literally a human being watching the football. Now, I understand why the penalty is not given, because I do think Maguire pushes the Pickford on the chest. And there are situations where decisions are, you can't understand it. But like, if you look at today, there was an offside given, and I think it was against Deco. I don't know. You didn't watch it.
For Leeds.
Was it Leeds? Yes, thank you. It was Leeds,
Yeah,
and he's pointing. He's pointing. He has his arm out, and they're doing the line from here. Now you can't score with this part of your arm. You can score with this. This is your shoulder.
Yeah.
But you can't score with this, right? That's a handball. That's a handball. So I don't understand this, right? The line should be from here. Literally anything here you can score from. Your shoulder, pop it in. That's where the line should be drawn from. But they drew a line from here when he's pointing where he wants to go. He's clearly onside. Ridiculous decision, but it's not VAR. It's the referees watching the replay and then giving a decision. Those referees really need to look at themselves, or somebody needs to look at them and say, how are you doing this? Pickford didn't get a red card against the Van Dijk after the fact, right? I don't care if Van Dijk was offside, right? If a player's offside, I can't elbow him in the face and break his nose, right? I mean, you can't. It's a red card. You look at loads of other things after the fact, and you have to say to yourself, something needs to be done, and it's not VAR. It's the people. It's the people actually looking after it.
Yeah, it's making the decision based on what they're seeing.
Yeah, now I'm just going back on the chat here, okay? We have Rebecca. Okay, so we have Paddy Tolan then, who's called Rebecca Tolan. We have Paddy saying Stonewall penalty. Yeah, Paddy, I know you're talking about Maguire. I honestly, Stephen Norman pointed it out. I think Maguire pushed him on the chest first, and maybe that's the only reason why they wouldn't give it. Paddy says Pickford should be suspended for 9 months. Well, I disagree. You can't suspend players for the length of time somebody's out for, because some things are accidental. I mean, yeah, you run out, you jump, you break someone's leg. It's like, okay, but look, you broke their leg. But like, did he really try to break his leg, or did they just miss time a challenge? Now Pickford should have been given a red card. He should be suspended for at least 3 or 4 matches. Maybe there should be a new rule introduced. If you injure a player with a bad challenge, who's out for more than a month, maybe you get a 5-game or 6-game suspension. But you can't.
That's like a fraction of what they're out for.
Yeah, but you can't rule somebody out for 9 months. But like, Pickford is absolutely shocking at the moment. Robert Fox says keepers aren't known for tackling. Think regardless of his form didn't mean to do Van der Fuckhead and say Maguire. No, he didn't mean to do Van der Fuckhead. He didn't mean to do Van Dijk. He didn't. He's just shit. He's just a really poor keeper. Like, I was watching the game, I thought it was last season before, and Liverpool were going for the league, and my head was done in watching Liverpool, going for the league as a United fan. And they came up against Everton. They had this whole unbeaten run thing going on. And Everton were about to beat them. And there was a ball hit, and it was going over the Everton bar, and Pickford jumps up, palms it.
That was a Van Dijk kick.
Yeah, and he palmed it straight to like Salah or Mane to head it in. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's just shit. That's just pathetic. It's just awful. Like, what are you doing as a keeper? And since then, he's not done anything to redeem himself. He's really, really bad at football. Paddy said it was a penalty for United today. I mean, Paddy, it may have been. I would have loved a penalty for United today in that circumstances. Martial maybe would have took it. Probably would have been Bruno, to be honest. But I do think maybe Maguire pushed Pickford before the kicks came in. But if you're not giving a free to kick Pickford, forget the kick Pickford did, Deco. The defender kicks fucking Maguire just as bad.
Well, yeah, both of them do. He gets the penalty no matter what.
Yeah, Lee Bourne says, love the banter. Well, Lee, it's good banter, it's good fun, and we do try and, whilst we give banter back and forth, we also try to give a truthful opinion. As I said, I can give banter back about Liverpool, etc., but Klopp and Ole and their two managers, etc., but Klopp is by far, in my opinion, the best manager in the league at the moment, and I'll never deny that. He is fantastic. You look at Paddy says, draw no bet on bet, and if you saw VAR decision in Leeds game, it was sickening. Yeah, and Paddy, I saw the decision in a freeze frame. It was sickening. It was pretty shit. It actually was really awful. I don't understand it. Paddy, draw no bet. Go on. 50 quid. Man City beat Liverpool. Liverpool win, I owe you 50. Man City win, you owe me 50. Draw no bet. Alright, you have your bet. There it is. Now, Robert Fox says, John, did you see the Leeds VAR game today? We are losing out on real-time play. Not saying it doesn't work, it does, but we are definitely taking away from the game. Yeah, I don't disagree. There is this issue that's going on with regards to how long decisions are taking, and sometimes, is it a goal, isn't it a goal? You ruin the celebrations, Deco. What do you think, players?
Like Rashford's goal where he took it and he got flagged offside, but he ran all the way down, scored, looked around, saw the flag. He's like, okay, I'll wait here. And you wait like 5 minutes until somebody decides that wasn't offside, go ahead. And you're like, yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah,
it's not.
The moment's over, like the moment's gone, like yeah.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, and VAR does it does.
No,
I agree, Rob. It does hinder that a bit. It's very difficult to. I mean, it's a bit of give and take. I mean, yes, we want the correct decisions in every game. We do want games to be won legitimately with the correct decisions, but we also don't want to take away from moments within the game, like correctly scored goals or you know penalties that should or shouldn't be given.
That's that Rashford goal where he wasn't offside. If that was no VAR, that flag goes straight up. That's whistle goes.
Yeah, and then that was it against RB Leipzig. Rashford is completely onside. He's in his own half, for Christ's sake. That goal doesn't stand without VAR. The big thing about VAR is, yes, VAR takes away from some of the spontaneous celebration, right? Don't deny it.
Flow.
But VAR is correct about 95% of the time. It didn't give a red card to Pickford when Van Dijk got injured. It should have. It called offside against Mane when I still don't think Mane was offside against Everton. Fair enough. But in offsides, it tends to get it right like 99% of the time. So you can forgive it a single mistake. The thing is, without VAR, far too many wrong calls are made. Too many penalties that wouldn't be given. Too many penalties that would be given but shouldn't be. Too many goals that don't count because they're offside when in fact they weren't offside. And too many goals that are scored from offside that shouldn't be given, but it didn't get called offside. Like again, exactly. City beat Chelsea last year, or the year before, when two of the goals were 5 or so yards offside and somehow weren't called. I will give up the spontaneity for the correct decision every time, because if my team lost from a goal that shouldn't have been, I'd be fairly pissed off. In fact, I generally am pissed off. I was going to change the channel name to Pissed Off John.
Pissed off John.
Yeah. Paddy goes on to say the red line was on his elbow. Yeah, Paddy, not even sure. Like, I mean, if this is the Leeds thing, ridiculous. He can't score with his elbow. Absolutely nuts. Rob Fox tried to back Cavani to score. Had a feeling. No fucking option. Paddy Powers. CUNTs. You couldn't find an in-game bet for Cavani to score. That's incredible. And it's unfortunate because he did. Cavani will be solid for his 1%. And Rob, I think he will be. He's a great option to have. He's probably a far more potent option than N'Golo, Deco. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he looks really good. I'm glad he got his first goal today as well. So I think hopefully get a bit more time, see what he does, maybe get a start or something. But yeah, I think he's gonna be really good for us.
Excellent. Look, Paddy says, right, I'm away. Paddy says, right, I'm away. Great chatting. Well done, lads. Rob is like, how do you get it wrong ever? And that's my issue. Well, that's true for Bar. And then Rob says, Bamford's goal for Leeds. Fuck's sake, great goal, disallowed. Yeah, it's hard to disagree.
That makes it 1-1 for them. That changed the game because he scored again when they were 2-0 down, so it didn't really help as much.
No.
Maybe it'll be a different game, who knows, but
it could be a huge call in the game. I know the game ended 4-1, but at that stage it wasn't 4-1, Deco. And my dad's a Leeds fan. He's a big Leeds fan now. We bought him Leeds jerseys for this season. He was so excited. That result would really annoy him. Now, Richie comes on to say, agree, Foxy. Once he's up to speed fitness-wise, think Cavani will score some key goals. Looking forward to the rest of the season. We'll get to the new year with 6 to 9 points off top. It may become interesting. Richie, I completely agree, and I've been saying this. Our 15/13th position, it is somewhat misleading. It's as misleading as Everton and Villa being top of the league and Southampton top of the league right now. We are, when we win our game in hand against Burnley, we are only 2 points off 4th or 3rd, and we're only 3 points off Liverpool. If we start winning games now, if we can start putting points on the board, we will be able to. Hey, Spencer! Congratulations, you're live on YouTube. Richie, if we do start winning games, we will become. We will get within 3 and 6, 9 points off top. Spencer, how are you?
Good.
You're good? Rob Fox does say, agree, Rich, with great attitude, seeing him working, trying to get fit when he was isolated, told me loads. Exactly. He's doing a great job. Listen, guys, we are actually an hour and 12 minutes into this. I'm going to call it time. I want to say thanks to everybody for joining live. Really appreciate the comments in the chat. Thanks for the contribution. It's actually what makes the video. Me and Deco had a great time. Deco, anything to say?
No, yeah, love the fact that there's so many comments flying in on this one, because at first we didn't think there was going to be really anyone on, did we?
Yeah.
Like, we just thought me and you having a chat for a bit and then gone. Yeah. So
here, Deco, read that last comment.
Can
you see the last comment?
From Foxy?
Yeah.
From Spencer? He hasn't, well, we've not pushed anything on him yet. He's not big into football, so like he doesn't watch a lot of me, but when I'm watching he asks who I want to win and then he'll cheer for that team, so I could maybe slip a jersey on at some point.
Yeah, listen, Foxy, we're on it, right? For Spencer's next birthday, in fact for Christmas, I'm going to get Spencer a Man United jersey and Deca will slip it on him.
And yeah, Foxy, yeah, I live right near the York Stadium as well, so like that's a pain in the arse when games are played, but they're moving soon, so hopefully that'll ease things up around here. But yeah, there's no joy living in York.
Yeah.
Team like that team.
But yeah, listen, everybody, thanks for joining live. Deco said it best. When we came on, we thought it would just be 2 of us. People joined in the chat. It makes beer and chats go. It's a really, really good conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Deco, gonna have you back next Saturday if you're available. Really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for joining live. Have a great day and a great enjoy the results. It's been fantastic, and I'll see you again. See you later, Deco.
Next week, yeah. See you next week.
Man United as the Reds go marching on. Welcome to Old Trafford. It's the better of our dreams. The power and the glory of the Shepherd and will sing. The Lusty boys will take the pitch to marching at their feet as the Reds go marching on. Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. As the Reds go marching on.
This shirt belongs to you. Always has, always will.